So a while ago I was watching Hannah Witten, and she mentioned this book called Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. I heard what she had to say about it and I was immediately like, I have to read this because it just sounded amazing. And then I did some research on it, read some reviews, read what it was about, and I was like, I need this book in my life. I went to one of my local Waterstones and they didn't have any in stock. She said she could order it in, but I wasn't going to be able to get to that store for a while, and I was like, I want this book. So I went to a Waterstones that was quite far away from me because I was just out for the day, and I was like, do you have it? And they were like, no. So eventually I ordered it into my local Waterstones because some more came online because they had all gone out of stock. And so I went to my local Waterstones and got this book, and I was like, right, when am I going to start reading this? Because I was reading a bunch of books at the time. I'm one of those people who reads more than one book at a time, I'm sorry. And I went to Cardiff and I had almost finished the book I was currently reading, so I took that book with me and Aristotle and Dante. And I finished the book I was currently reading on the train there because it takes about 2 hours. I don't know how long it takes on the train to get to Cardiff. I think it's just over 2 hours. So I finished the book I was currently reading on the train there, and I read this book, Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, in 2 days, I think. It was either 2 or 3 days. I read it immediately and I'm gonna talk about it. So this is what it looks like. It's very beautiful, but unfortunately the award things aren't stickers. They're just like printed on there, so I can't get them off, which is so frustrating because it's such a beautiful cover. And I didn't notice when I first started reading it, but all of the little symbols that are at the side have something to do with either of the characters, which I just love. I'll read the blurb. Don't be put off by the blurb because it sounds so typical, but try writing a blurb for a book to try and get someone interested in it. It's difficult. Dante can swim, Ari can't. Dante is articulate and self-assured. Ari has a hard time with words and suffers from self-doubt. Dante gets lost in poetry and art. Ari gets lost in thoughts of his older brother who is in prison. Dante is fair-skinned. Ari's features are much darker. It seems that a boy like Dante, with his open, unique perspective on life, would be the last person to break down the walls that Ari has built around himself. But against all odds, when Ari and Dante meet, they develop a special bond that will teach them the most important truths of their lives and help define the people they want to be. But there are big hurdles in their way, and only by believing in each other and the power of their friendship can Ari and Dante emerge stronger on the other side. Sorry, I just reread the last page. I first want to talk about getting into this book. So I found it quite difficult. I didn't find it quite difficult. I read it in such a short space of time, but that's because I was pushing myself. I found it quite difficult to get into the style of writing because I'd never really read anything like it before. It had like sections of the book and then really, really short chapters within these sections. It's like the sections were the chapters, but then there were like parts of the chapter. I don't know how to describe it. Some of the chapters were like half a page long. I believe the author is Mexican, and I believe it's set in Mexico. If I'm wrong, just completely ignore that. But like the themes in the book and the characters are definitely like Mexican influenced. And I had never read a book like that before, but it's beautiful. I love like the whole culture of Mexico, and I really want to visit Mexico one day because it's one of the places that I just love the way everything is, and it's like me with Japan. So I am obsessed with Japanese culture and food and just the beauty of it, and it's the same with Mexico. They're just like the two places that I would love to visit one day. I'm maybe slightly biased towards this book, but it has amazing reviews, as you can see by the awards on the cover. But anyway, I'm rambling. Getting into the book was a little bit difficult for me because I just wasn't used to the structure. I'll give you an example that doesn't have any spoilers on it. So it has like these every now and then, which are like the sections, like the big chapters, and then it has like these little parts within it. So that's like one, and then that's like a page and a half long, and then it's the next chapter. So like it's split into really short sections, but then there are big sections within that. I've never seen a book set out that way before, I don't think. But that was easy enough to get used to. I didn't mind that. But then the style of writing as well, and like the way the characters talked, I had never read anything like it before, but I quickly got used to it and ended up falling in love with it. And the stuff I had heard about the book, I was confused when it was gonna happen. I don't know if anyone else has the same experience reading this as me, but I don't want to give away any spoilers, so I don't want to say what it is, but like the stuff I had heard about what happens in this book only happens at the very end, and I thought the book was about that. I thought it was a story of it, and I started reading it like, what? And then it happened right at the end, and I love that happened. I love the way he wrote it, and just the way everything was set out and how it ended up. Like, I can't help just like beaming when I read the last page. It's just especially the last sentence, it's just the most beautiful story. As you can see, I'm not very good at putting my thoughts into a very articulate form, but all in all, it is a beautiful book that I would highly recommend. It might get a bit of getting used to, but once you get into the story and the stuff starts happening, and if you don't expect something the whole way through the book like I did, it will be a great experience. I mean, it was for me anyway, but it's definitely a book I will reread. I reread a lot of books, but I feel like this would be one of those books that I would just keep rereading over and over because it's just so beautiful and uplifting, and it's definitely one I would recommend. In this short space of time, it has become one of my all-time favourite books, and I cannot praise it enough. I don't know if this author has written anything else. I'm gonna look at it straight after I finish filming this, but if he has, I am definitely reading that stuff as well, because I've just fallen in love with the way he writes, and it's something I'm really not used to. It's such a different style of writing. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like every author has their different way of writing stuff and expressing stuff, and you just can't put it into words, and I love his way of doing it. I've just realised I've never said the author's name, and it's because I'm not even going to try and butcher the pronunciation. So it's Benjamin something something. I'm sorry, I can't do other languages. Alire Sans. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. I love this book. Read it if you haven't. I've been filming for 12 minutes. I don't think I've ever done that before. I usually just post really short, boring videos. But anyway, oh, okay, one more thing. Not anytime soon, but maybe within the next year, I might be changing up this channel a bit because there's something I really, really want to do, but it will take a lot of time, and I don't have the motivation at the moment. But I'm gonna practice, see how it works, and if it does work, this channel will be changing quite a bit. The way I do videos is gonna be changing quite a lot. Stick with me for the announcement. I'm joking. It might change at some point. Okay, thank you for watching. Definitely read the book. Subscribe if you wanna, like if you wanna. I like nice comments. Thanks, bye.